Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the EnerShe Podcast, where we have conversations, never competition. Welcome back to the EnerShe Podcast. I'm your host, Adriana K. Granlund, alongside my incredible co-hosts, Karen Shirley, and of course, Crystal Fana. EnerShe magic, right? We're so grateful you're here with us today for another conversation centered around healing, growth, and of course, empowerment. Becoming the strongest and healthiest versions of ourselves is what we're committed to. So today's topic is one that affects every area of our lives. It's self-esteem, self-worth, and of course, confidence. How we view ourselves impacts our relationships, our careers, our boundaries, our decisions, and ultimately the life that we create. So joining us today is Haley Fitzgerald, founder of Flourish Your Confidence. Hey, Haley.
Hi, thank
Hi.
you. It's an honor.
Yes, we're so glad you're here. For
Thank
those
you.
of you who are unfamiliar with Haley, let me familiarize you. Haley is, of course, a life coach, author, and content creator with a thriving presence on TikTok and, of course, YouTube. Actually, her YouTube is getting pretty up there, guys. I'm impressed. This is where she helps people overcome self-doubt, build confidence, and step into their full potential. Through her coaching content and her ebook, Haley has inspired countless individuals to see themselves differently and embrace their worth. So, whether you're rebuilding after a difficult relationship, healing from trauma, recovering from addiction, navigating life transitions, or simply looking to strengthen your confidence, this episode is for you. So, Haley, welcome to the EnerShe Podcast, and let's dive in, shall we, ladies?
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah,
Such a
let's.
great welcoming. Thank you.
Well, yeah, you're worth it, boo. You are
I
worth it.
know. Totally worth it. Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
absolutely.
I couldn't wait to have you on. Haley, can I share, Haley? Can I?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Haley and I worked together at a previous company that is no longer um, doing its thing, right? So Haley and I had the opportunity to work together at this company. And from the moment I met Haley, I just absolutely adored her. And we had so much in common. And she is very confident and she is such a hard worker that she's just one of those women that is, for me, it's easy to admire. So when I found out that she was doing a life coaching practice, I couldn't wait to have her on. So that's how me and Haley know each other.
Yes. It's
Yeah.
wonderful. We trauma bonded
Yes, we
over our
did.
situation.
Nothing's better than like work trauma bonds. Like
I
those are the strongest of trauma
I
bonds, I
think
feel
that
like.
they really are. When you walk through something that's really devastating, it's like, oh, there's my person. Yep, that's
Yeah.
the one. Yeah,
Right? You
yeah,
are my person every step of the
absolutely.
way. I love, and
Absolutely.
isn't that what we do as women? We're like, oh my God, we're going to share some trauma.
Yes,
We adore you.
yes. Uncomfortableness, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's dive into our first set of questions, which is, Haley, what is the difference between self-esteem and self-worth? And of course, self-confidence. Oftentimes people hear these terms and they use them like interchangeably, but how
Yeah.
would you define each one of those? And why is understanding the difference so important, would you say?
Okay, so when it comes to self-esteem, that is going to be how I feel about myself on the inside.
Mhm.
Self-esteem really says that I can walk into situations that are unfamiliar to me because of how I'm feeling. When it
Mhm.
comes to self-confidence, it's going to be how I present myself to the world and my level of comfortableness in the environments that I may not be familiar with. And then, kind of at the top of the pyramid, you have
Mhm.
this self worth. And self worth says, I matter no matter what I've experienced in the past or what I'm currently experiencing now. So there's this amazing book. It's called The Self-Esteem Workbook, and it was written by a bunch of people. And in that book, it says, if you've ever done anything for any other person in any way, you have. So that was
Mm.
is we're born with worth. We have this
Yes.
beautiful kind of core diamond inside of us.
Yeah.
And what happens over time with our worth, this little diamond,
Mhm.
is it gets scratched and it gets foggy and it gets really doled out from everything that we experience and things that people say to us. And so what
Yeah.
we want to do is we want to make that little diamond shiny again. We want you to realize your worth and that you were born with it because we were doing things for other people from the moment that we could hand someone else a toy,
Yeah.
right?
Seriously.
Our sibling, all of those things, right? So
Yeah.
we are born with worth. And so those are the differences. Self esteem is how I feel about myself inside.
Mhm.
Self confidence is what I show you and myself in environments that I may not know. And worth is something that I was actually born with. And I've proven it time and time again throughout my life.
I that is so good, you guys. Isn't that do you feel like that is not like the best explanation of those 3 things? That was so spot on. I
Thank
was
you.
listening to a podcast earlier, on in the week, and, I can't even recall who it was at this moment, but she was talking about self-confidence and how it is something that is n that although it yes, we have it within us, we bring it out of us over time just attempting the thing. And once you attempt the thing and you prove to yourself that you are able to or capable of doing it, it then builds self-confidence. You then become more confident over time and it's a character build. So I really like your explanation. Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks.
Could we
Mhm.
dive deeper into self-worth? Because you said self-worth is something that we're born with. Isn't
Yes.
self-worth something that can be built also over time or be taken away over time depending on situations and circumstances?
I think that when it comes to self worth, we're born with worth. So if you think about a baby, right, that baby has worth. And so over time, I think that other things when we talk about comparisons in the home or we talk about, criticism that we got, our worth actually never changed. Like it's still in there. And I always say to everybody, you were born with all of your worth. It's just that over time, due to maybe possibly the way that you think about situations or you have interpreted them, right? Kind of that expectation bias that we start to feel that we don't have worth. But if we
Mhm.
were born with worth and it's proven if we've even done one thing for another person, then it should never be questioned.
Hmm.
But it's our own way that we look at it that makes us question, am I worthy today due to this situation that happened and what
Mhm.
someone else may have said to me or what I'm saying to myself?
Yeah. What I'm hearing in that is that life circumstances and things that happen diminish that. Like you were saying, the diamond that gets scratched,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Over time. So breakups, heartbreaks, friendships that are, people that you thought were a friend and maybe they were talking about you behind your back, or maybe you have like a job and the job doesn't work out, or maybe your boss is telling you think you're doing a great job and your boss is like, she's not making the cut, and you're like, what
Yeah.
the hell, so all these things can diminish us over time, and that's so all it can make us question our self-worth is what
Yeah.
I'm hearing you say, Haley, right?
It
Karen, what
can.
do you think about
Yeah. Is that what Karen, was that helpful on that
Oh, I
answer?
just wanted to go deeper into that because
that?
I've never heard that before, actually, that you're born with self-worth.
You're born
So
with
I
Really?
just
you're
wanted to
born
get
with
like a deeper
infinite
pardon?
worth. You're born with infinite worth.
Hmm.
I feel like what I how I like understand it is like you're born with worth that's like your constant through life, right? And then I feel like the self-esteem is like tied to that worth. And like
Hmm.
that affects how you view your own self-worth, right? It's like things happen in life makes you feel really shitty about yourself, and that
Hmm.
in turn kind of changes how you value yourself, right? Because like your worth, I feel like for me personally is like attached to like my value and how I value myself, which then in turn is like connected to my self-esteem that's inside. And then my confidence is like what I show to everybody else, right? Like I can have really bad self-esteem, but everybody else will think I'm really confident, right? Because I can
Hmm.
fake it,
Mhm.
right?
Hmm.
Like I can pretend I put on a mask and be like, yeah, I'm confident. And inside I'll be like, you're a fucking idiot,
Yeah.
pardon my French, you know? Um, but but like I feel like self-esteem and like worth are kind of like attached to each other in a way. Like you were saying, like the pyramid of things. Like
Mhm.
I feel like esteem kind of attacks that value and worth that we have.
Mhm.
If it's negative, is that
Yeah.
kind of like where you were going with that, Haley? Like,
Yeah. So in my it's my one of my favorite books. It talks about the pillars to get to self-esteem.
yeah,
And what it says is the bottom foundation is unconditional work, and then you have unconditional love, right? So this is your foundation. And then you have this spot where you grow. And then right here at the top is going to be self-esteem, right? So that's
oh,
how it's explained. So the way to really tackle self-esteem is you have to start with the pillars. We have to discuss why you don't feel like you have worth. Because it's not
Mm,
true that you don't have it.
yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
somewhere along your path,
Yeah.
you forgot, you lost those feelings, somebody told you something different. And
Hmm.
so now the thing you were born with, which is almost like the color of your skin and your hair and your hands, and I mean, everything you were born with, right? All of a sudden you think it's not there, it's gone. And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, well, let's talk about why that happened. Where did that go?
Yeah.
When did it disappear for you? Because it's
mhm.
been there since birth. It's been
Right.
there all along, even if you've done one nice thing for one person ever.
Hmm.
You have
Yeah,
And I feel like we're spending a lifetime almost trying to get back to that. That's almost like our life's work and mission is trying to get back to understanding that we have worth simply because we woke up in the morning,
Mhm.
because we were born. And we're always trying to prove our worth, whether it's through, you know, tying myself to my achievements. Hello, goal getter. Right. And I'm like, oh, see, I'm worthy, everybody. Look at, don't you see that I'm worthy?
Look what I could
Check
do.
me. Look what I can do. Right? Totally. Or like in your home, or whether it's like, oh, I just baked this, I'm a master baker now because I just made cookies. Look, don't you see how worthy I am? Family, do you appreciate me? But it's like, no, I love where you're going with that, Haley. It's because we're always trying to prove that every day just to get back to simply the knowing that we were born worthy, you know?
yeah.
So
it's like we're
good.
trying to use others to create our worth.
Yeah. Yeah. And
You know,
validate it.
rather than just innately knowing that because I exist, I am worthy.
Mm,
Right.
Yes.
And I
so
think it's
good.
so important we talk about this because, like, I know for me, like, these terms, right, especially in social media and like the TikTok videos, like, they're kind of thrown out there and they're not like explained or related to or connected. So I think, it, it's kind of all over the place out there, I feel like.
Yeah.
Well, and I feel that my motto is that how you feel about yourself is exactly how you're going to show up with the world. And I think that one of the most beautiful explanations recently was Dr. Zahari was on a Mel Robbins podcast, and her book that just came out. It's called Big Trust, and it's about self-doubt and everything. And she talked about a study, and I don't want to butcher this too much, but in the 70s and 80s, it was Dr. Robert Kleck. I wrote it down. Dr.
Mhm.
Robert Kleck did a study where he took a group of people and he took a different group of people and he put a scar on their face. And he put a scar on their face from their ear to their mouth.
Mm.
Mhm.
And he sent them out right before they went out to, kind of network with strangers and all this kind of stuff. We had a group that didn't have a scar, and then we had a group that had the scar.
Mhm.
So they all went out for a few hours. They all did the thing. They showed them what they look like in the mirror. And then they all had to come back and they had to fill out, forms on feedback, like, how was it interacting with these strangers? And how did that feel for you? And the people with the scar on their face said, because of expectation bias, how I think you're going to treat me because I don't have my
Mm.
worth and my self confidence and self esteem, I think you're going to treat me different. So the feedback from the group that had no scar was beautiful, it was wonderful. They interacted, all these great things happened. The people with the scar reported that people judged them, they felt more
Mm.
criticized, all of these different feelings, negative feelings about the experience. And
Wow.
that would be, like she says, that would be a study in itself. The only
Yeah.
issue is that prior to them going out, the ones with the scar, they told everybody that they were going to apply some moisturizer to their face to keep the scar from cracking. And what they did was they removed the scar. So
Mm.
during that whole time that they were interacting, because of how they felt
Wow.
and how they were interpreting that other people were going to
Wow.
interact with them, the whole situation was negative feelings for them
Mm.
because they had their worth or their self-esteem or their self-confidence tied to the scar, and it didn't matter. The scar was not even there.
Powerful study right there. My God. What was this book again?
So it's called Big Trust by Sadeh Zahari. I just purchased it. I think it's beautiful. I mean, she really talks about expectation bias. And so what we think the world sees is our scars.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole, the whole premise behind it is that because
Yeah.
we know what we've been through, we know what people have said to us and some of our skeletons, right? Like we
Hmm.
know all the naughty things that we've done in our life that we're not proud of. But the
Right.
world doesn't know that. But when
Mm.
we know it, we show up that way when we don't have worth, esteem,
Mhm.
confidence
So
because
true.
of how we feel.
So true. So
Yeah.
true. So I have to share like because I work with clients with Adriana at Inflection Point Life Coaching. And one of my clients struggles with socialization. She like is always very negative and very down on herself. And I often ask her questions like, are you not interacting with people because you think that they don't want to interact with you? Or is it because they actually don't want to interact with you? Right. Like, so I'm trying to always get her to distinguish like the difference because when she's talking to me, she's telling me how this person approached her and like was talking to her and how her friend sent her a text message and wanted to hang out with her. But then she says, and I said, well, why didn't you go? Or why didn't you interact with that stranger? And she was like, "Oh," and I just, like, looked at the person who was talking to me at the store and just, like, looked down and, like, walked away. I thought it was so weird, and I was like, "That's so interesting. Why?" She's like, "Why would they wanna talk to me?" It's just like, "Why?" And I was like, "That's so interesting," right? And then why and then I asked her, "Why would you not wanna go out with one of your friends who's reaching out to you?" "Well, I don't," why would she, I she's probably got other better things to do or other friends she can hang out with. Why do you always think there's somebody better than you? Why she's asking you. So I'm always trying to get her to shift her perspective on that. And and I clearly wish that she could see that you are valuable. People do want to hang out with you. You are liked. You are likable. It's that you don't like yourself,
Mhm.
you
Or you
know?
have an expectation of how the world or the friendship is going to treat you.
That's good too. Wow.
Yeah.
Hmm. What
So,
do you
and
mean by
the one thing is when you have the self-worth and you have the self-confidence and the self-esteem,
that?
I can engage in any relationships that I want. And the
Yes.
reason, and a lot of people like, I've been hurt by a relationship. I've been hurt by a man. I've been hurt by a woman. I've been hurt. You guys were talking about women's relationships last week, and I had
Mhm.
watched that podcast, which was just beautiful. But
Thank
if
you.
you have the ability to know that even if someone comes in and they try to destroy me, hurt me, break my heart, that I'm still going to be okay no matter what.
Mm.
It's going to hurt and it's going to sting, but I'm going to be okay. You can engage in any relationship that you want because you will know when to get out.
Yes.
You will boundaried yourself up in the beginning or eventually just disconnect from the relationship because you have boundaries, worth, self confidence to do it. And then
Mhm.
also, you know that if this goes bad and I get my feelings hurt terribly, I'm
Mhm.
still going to be okay. And so that's
Yes.
the one thing people say, I don't want to reach out to people and I don't want to do that. And the thing I share is I'll have any relationship with anybody because I
Mhm.
feel confident enough to leave when I need to.
Mhm.
If they hurt me, I don't see it, I don't catch it, whatever. That even if that happens, I'm okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Amen, sister. It all comes down to trust of self.
Mhm.
That it's really like, do I trust myself? Because we can't control what other people are going to do in this world,
Yeah.
but we can control and trust ourselves to know what we will do if they betray, if they lie, if they cheat, right?
Yes.
It's not about what you're going to do. It's about what I know I will do if you do.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I know that
Very.
I'm like working up that hill to that, top of that mountain of that. And I know for me, like what one way that my old therapist, we were really working on this was like making baby steps, like finding and knowing like those safe relationships that you do have, and
Mhm.
then like practicing it there almost, or like using your voice, with people that are safe people that you feel comfortable with. So then when you are in a situation like out in the real world, you can have that kind of confidence that you've built up in those safe spaces. And I know for me that really helped, like being able to do it with, family, really close
Yep.
friends, and then strangers eventually.
Totally. Baby steps. Baby
Yeah.
steps, right?
Promises to yourself. Keeping
Mhm.
promises to yourself is what builds that.
Absolutely. Thank you, Haley.
What are some of the biggest misconceptions people have about confidence? What does true confidence actually look like, and how can people tell the difference between confidence and arrogance?
Ooh.
Ooh, good ones. Okay. First, I want to start with the misconceptions. Misconceptions say that I'm going to feel great all the time in every situation. I'm not going to have any self doubt. I'll never self sabotage myself again. I'm always going to feel wonderful, right? Like, I mean, I'm top notch, right? And if we're thinking that, that's great. And hats off to the woman or the man, whoever's reached that platform, maybe at like 70 or 75, that just
Mm,
doesn't care anymore,
zero fucks.
but I think that the misconception is that if I have confidence, I'm going to feel confident in every situation. And that's
Yeah.
not always the case.
Mhm.
There's situations that actually make us feel less confident. And then we have to pause and bring that self awareness in and say, what was that about?
Yeah.
In very lighthearted way. Cause a lot of people say, well, I didn't do very good at that party and I was awkward and weird and I was uncomfortable. And it's like, okay, but what
Mhm.
was that about? Like, stay curious, right? Why did you feel awkward and weird? Were you trying to like compare yourself to someone else's highlight reel for the night? Do
Yeah.
you think that they had it all together? It's
Yeah.
always this comparison. So, and the difference between confidence and arrogance in its simplest form is that someone who's arrogant needs to blow my candle out to make theirs shine. And that's
Huh.
pretty much what it
Mm.
is. It's like an arrogant person needs to make sure that they say something backhanded, whatever you want to
Mm.
say, my direction or someone else's direction before they say something that's important about them.
Mm.
That's the arrogant person. I'm going to need to blow your candle out because
Yeah.
I can be the only one with the candle right now.
Gross. People like that gross me out. Like,
Me
you know,
too.
right? You give me the
I
ick.
can't stand arrogance.
Yeah. It gives me the ick. I'm just gonna be straight up. I'm like, as women, when I find that when anybody does this, male or female, but like other women, I'm like, damn, you're like the hater of all haters. Like, why can't you let that girl shine? Let her get her shine on. You know what I mean? It's okay. We can both shine at the same time. There's room. There's room.
It just
You
makes
know
the
what I
room
mean?
brighter.
It will just glow so bright.
Yes.
So yeah, I just don't be a mean girl. Ugh.
Yeah.
You know,
And we know.
confidence, not cockiness either.
Well, and one of the things that, in the self esteem workbook, it talks about self esteem lands right between self defeating shame and self defeating pride. Self
Hmm.
esteem right in the middle. And what
Mhm.
it says is so many of us fear self defeating pride that we do everything we can so that someone doesn't think that we're a bitch or
Mhm.
arrogant or whatever, that we swing so far over to self defeating shame to be
Mhm.
mindful not to be this pride person, that
Mhm.
we actually don't give ourselves self esteem, which is in the middle. So there's like this advantage to not having self-esteem. And a lot of people report it, and I don't know if I can say words on here or not, but a lot of people report that the reason, Haley, that I don't want to have this self-confidence is because I don't want people to think I'm a bitch.
Mm-hmm. Oh, cuss away, girl. We be
But
cussing.
okay, but there's a very big difference between the two, because the person with self-confidence is also going to be happy for your successes,
Yeah.
and the bitch is going to turn her back or say something in the conversation to up you
Yeah,
on what you've done. That's the difference,
Mhm.
right? So it's easy to distinguish between the two. So when my clients say, I want to have this confidence, but I don't want to have that self defeating pride, it's like, okay, well, let's talk about how you don't downgrade somebody else in a conversation when they're
yeah,
sharing something that's important to them. That's how you keep the ego in check. But
totally. Oh, God bless you.
God
God
bless
bless
you.
you.
Thanks. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
Yeah.
you're okay. So good. This is such great feedback, Haley, and you're giving such great answers to these questions, and you're breaking it down in such a way that I know our viewers and your audience is going to just eat it up. So
Good.
good. Thank you. All
Thank you.
right, Crystal.
Um, so how would you say childhood experiences shape our self-esteem as adults? And this is something we've talked about a lot here on this podcast. So I'm curious what your take on it is.
I feel that childhood experiences shape a lot for us.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I feel like at the same time to recognize is that a lot of people don't want to work on confidence and self esteem and self worth because they don't want to tap into what was the childhood experience that happened. I
Mm-hmm.
think that it's important to realize that you don't have to go all the way back, but I think majority of us that have struggled, in my opinion, I say it's a handicap. When you don't have self-esteem and you don't have self-worth and you don't have self-confidence, it's like having a handicap in the world. It's like
Mm-hmm.
we don't do the things that everyone else feels comfortable enough to do. So it starts early. It starts not being picked at school. It starts your clothing being different. It
Mm-hmm.
starts being compared to a sibling in the home.
Yeah.
It starts with your parents saying that it was never good enough what you did. And then that just continues to breed to attraction to relationships that do the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? Sometimes we pick people because I know that theme. That's a family norm for me. So if I
Mm-hmm.
pick a partner who doesn't think I'm super great at cooking and thinks that I dress poorly, well, I know that. I know how to respond to that because that's the house I grew up in.
Right.
Right. So our childhood will shape it. And what I get a lot of times is, I want to work on this stuff with you during consultations, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to go all the way back in the past. So can we not do that?
Yeah.
And so what I say is, can we identify 2 to 3 things, like big ones?
Mm-hmm.
And can we look at the belief system that we've had around that? And then let's move forward from where we're at now and we'll start building. But I think
Mm-hmm.
for childhood, there are at least 2 to 3 things that really set that tone for us. And it usually started about 5 or 6, I'm finding out
Yeah.
through conversations and
Yeah.
myself. So
Interesting. And isn't that interesting how it starts around that early age? And I really love that you said it's things just as simple as, being compared to a sibling or like, let's say I'm going to throw one out there that literally rings a bell for me. And it just hit me as you were saying that. I was like, oh my God. I remember bringing home this handmade art piece, whatever it was from school, probably kindergarten to my mom and her going, "Oh, wow." And just like and she didn't seem as excited about it as I had hoped, right? And like I had worked so hard and I was so proud of it. And when I saw it in like I think it was like in the closet or something like that and it had been like put away instead of being put on display, it made me feel like it was not good enough. Like you
yeah,
weren't proud of it, you
yeah.
know? So though like it can be something as simple as that or being compared to a sibling um or not being chosen like you said on the playground. Like we all remember that kickball. Come on. Mhm. Did you get chosen not did you not get chosen for Foursquare? You know? So, I mean, we can all relate to that, can't we, ladies?
Yeah.
For sure.
I feel like we're touching notes. Y'all are quiet right now. Are we hitting some
I
core stuff
know.
right now? Just
Uh-oh.
saying.
Am I
Mm.
making am I doing okay?
You're doing great.
No, you're great.
doing
You're making my
wonderfully.
head hurt right now. You're making my head hurt.
What happens is we all tend to get really quiet, Haley, when it's like bringing stuff up and we're
Every
not
day.
quite sure what it is, but
I
we're
know.
processing it in
We're
real
like
time.
we try to process in real
Yeah.
time, and
I'm processing
it's
my
not.
stuff right now.
Sometimes you just see it when I'm like,
Yeah. And
I'm not.
sorry, Haley, I
Yeah.
hope it doesn't throw you too much. And then I have to be the one who's like, you guys, we got this. Okay, come back, circle back. It's okay.
Well,
Over
and
here.
then people say a lot like I've never had self-confidence, or I was never born with it. I have no idea what that means. And it just
Yeah.
goes back to a very simple, did you learn to walk? Because when you were learning to walk, you had confidence in your ability to do it. There was
Mhm.
nothing that came along that told you that you couldn't do that. So what did you do instead? You
Mm.
started to walk, you fell down, you tried again, you tried again, you tried again, right? And so
Yeah.
people always say, well, I never had any confidence. And it's like, well, are you walking? Because if you're
Straight up.
walking, people were cheering for you. And if you have
Mhm.
the right crowd, they are. But you fell down how many times and you got back up? And that was your belief, even as a small child, in your
Yeah.
ability to actually pull this off.
Yeah.
So
Straight up.
it is all before the garbage and the noise and all the things came into life. Even
Mm.
if there was no parent there cheering for you, you still tried to do it day
That's
after
right.
day until you conquered it.
Wouldn't you say, Haley, that's so good. Wouldn't you say that one of the biggest things that people struggle with in taking that step is the fear that like the fear of, oh, last time like, for instance, well, even though I've learned to walk, maybe the first time I took a step, I fell down and, oh, now I'm so afraid I'm going to fall down. And it's the fear that comes up even when trying to take the step again. Because oftentimes people ask me, Adriana, how are you so confident? And I'm like, well, it's not that I don't have fear to do the things. I just simply have fear and do it anyway. Like I jump 2 feet anyway, because I can't control the outcome. It will just be what it will be. And I just hope for the best. That's all I can do.
Yeah.
Learn along the way. So, yeah, it's not that we don't have fear. So, what do you think about that, Haley? Do you think that one of the biggest things that you see people struggle with around that confidence of taking that step, so to speak, um, is fear?
I think it's fear of being judged.
Mhm.
Because you would do anything. Everybody in this room right now, including everyone in the world, you would do anything and try anything if it was done in isolation and you were the only person that knew.
Ooh,
But if you are doing things and one person is watching you do it
mhm,
and it doesn't go the way that it was planned, then
mhm.
all of a sudden you feel fear of being judged and critiqued and all that stuff. And then if it doesn't work out, it is then seen as a failure instead of this learning opportunity for us. So I
Yeah.
truly believe that if we didn't have the perception that somebody's going to judge me if this doesn't work out the right way, and I want to
Mhm.
try anyways, this is exciting for me. It could be a total bomb at the end. But
Yeah.
I was doing it in isolation and no one knew about it at all, I would do it every time. Every time.
Mm, I
It's
love
the
that.
fear of what other people think that keeps
Mm.
us stuck.
So true. So, so true. Thank you for that. Crystal, Karen, what are your thoughts around that?
Spot on.
It reminds me of
She
a conversation I had with my nephew recently where I said, and look, we were talking about parents and growing up and stuff. I was like, look, no matter what we do, you guys are all going to need therapy. So just prepare for that. Like literally, you know what I mean? Because like your mom didn't know by putting your thing not on the fridge that it was going to, you know what I mean? Like as parents, we're just so stuck in
Mhm.
trying to be and trying to make everything okay that we're not realizing like the little tiny thing that is going to carry forward 40 years, so it's
Yeah.
like just accept, that
Yeah.
that's nobody's everyone's gonna need therapy at some point.
Straight up. Straight up. Thank you. Good
Yeah.
stuff. Okay, so next question is what are the signs that someone is struggling with like low self-worth, even if they appear confident on the outside? Because there's like
Mm.
subtle signs, right? That
Mhm.
some of our listeners may even recognize in themselves. So, what are your thoughts on that, Haley?
How are you asking me how someone would know? Like, how would I know if I had low confidence?
Yes. Or
Or
how
like,
like okay, so like if somebody appears that they're confident on the outside, but that
Mhm.
they're not necessarily struggling with confidence, but like low self-worth. Like Crystal was talking about earlier, even if I appear super confident, maybe the
Yeah.
self-esteem is in the trash,
Yeah.
you know?
I think that the way that people, well, I think that people know. I think that people know. I think they know inside of them by their choices that they make in partners and friendships or don't make in partners or any friendships, right? I
Mhm.
think that people know when they attempt to do something new or even something they've done before and then the feeling that they get inside of their gut. I
Mhm.
think that you really know. I'm not a fan of fake it till you make it. I've said that on my channel. I am
Mhm.
not a fan of fake it till you make it because here we are faking it again. Here
Mhm.
I am trying to show up to the world as somebody that I am not. And so
Mhm.
what does that do for my own confidence, right? So I think majority of the people when they hear certain things that I talk about, they can recognize themselves, which is I don't take very good care of myself because if I have low expectations and you have low expectations of me, I'm good because I already expected that. Right?
Yeah.
And then you create this vicious cycle because you think poorly of me. Now
Mhm.
I'm going to do the same thing and not take care of myself, which means I don't care what you think, but now you, and it's just this huge cycle that we get into. I think a
Mhm.
lot of times we completely ignore red flags. If you're ignoring red flags in your friendships, friendships are huge. And your
Mhm.
relationships, we are very smart and intelligent people. I never say that people miss red flags. I think
Yeah.
they see them and they choose not to be alone or choose to hang out anyway in an
Yes.
effort to see if it will change or evolve, and it usually doesn't.
That's right.
So we see the signs. We know what we feel inside. We know when we get dressed in the morning. Like, I'm putting this outfit on because
Mhm.
I want people to think that I have money or that I
Mm.
dress right or that I'm pretty
Mhm.
or any of these things, right?
Yeah.
Um, and if I'm doing that, I mean, you're supposed to dress appropriately, right, for your job or
Right.
kind of, but at the same time, if that is the feeling I get, I want somebody to think I'm smart or worthy today, then you know from almost the moment that you wake up and
Yeah.
interact with the world that I just don't feel that great about myself and I don't know why.
Hmm. Wow. Interesting.
Would you say like tying this kind of to like self-awareness, right? That like people can know, but to be self-aware is to be in action of that knowledge. Do you know
Yes.
what I mean?
Yes.
Like, yeah, because
So,
like this
yeah.
isn't be there's this isn't they're not self-aware. They're just they know something doesn't feel right.
Well,
Mhm.
and a lot of people I think have lived in it for so long. If you've lived with self-doubt and low self-confidence for 30 years, you really think that this is normal. Like, don't you feel the same way I feel? And we're like, no, we don't actually.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people are not self-aware because they've lived in it for so long. This is just the norm. Like, why not? Why can't this just be my normal? The only thing
Mhm.
is that how it would make me really sad to know that there's even one person in the world that takes their last breath not
Mhm.
knowing how beautiful and worthy and
Mhm.
wonderful that they were and are. And so that's why I think the self-awareness is there, but we have to get real with how much attention people are willing to put into it.
Mhm. For sure.
You can't complicate it anymore. People do they want the change, but they don't really wanna do the work sometimes. So
Preach.
you have to simplify it, and that's what I love about some of the things that I do, because people want a 3-minute snapshot of something that they can relate to, But I'm telling you, to get to a place where we're actually working on it is a
Yes.
harder sell at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I try really hard not to complicate it because nobody really wants to come in and try to change their life in 30, 60, 90, 1 year. They're not even willing to commit to the year sometimes.
Yeah.
So we want to go small and we want to go something they can accomplish. So
Yeah.
if you say yes to everybody every single day of your life, yes, 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 and you never use the word no, you just
Mhm.
everybody happy.
Yes,
Then
man. That's a
yes,
movie.
ma'am. Yes. Then the goal is to get you to say no one time a week in the beginning,
Yep.
once. And then
Mhm.
when you do that, it's like, oh, I said no one time.
Yeah.
And then we build on that. Right.
Yeah.
So, yes, is there an awareness that needs to happen? Sure. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Are people willing to take the time to become more aware? It's harder with the way that life is right now because it is busy. Life
So
is busy.
So busy. So good. Thank you so much for that. That's so insightful. I actually want to compare that what you said because I like what you said earlier when you said I don't like the terminology of fake it till you make it, right? Because I've used that in my past so many times, but I agree with you, Haley. I don't actually like that statement because I believe that you can be whoever you want to be. We are the creators of our lives, right? So, for instance, I was 436 pounds at my heaviest weight, 436 pounds. And I just remember thinking to myself, I want to be healthy. I didn't care how long it was going to take me. I just want to be healthy. And in order to be healthy, and of course, I wanted to be smaller than I was, right? Because I was uncomfortable. I remember I could literally be sitting here with you guys and sweating my ass off, right? Like just beads of sweat just for sitting and talking
Mhm.
and breathing, right? So I just wanted to be healthier. So every single day I committed to eating healthier the way that I watch people who are healthy eaters do. And that's what I did. And one day a week, I would commit to a cheat day. And then as I started to lose the weight, I then started to do things that healthy people do, like go to the gym. So I was walking in it, right? And it was about those small actions every single day, and then adding to that, and then adding to that, and then right action after right action over time. I learned. And so here I am and I started that journey in 2019. And here we are, 2026, and I'm still on this journey because it's a forever thing. And I am now officially down 255 freaking pounds, right?
Yay!
Which is hella.
Woo! Feeling wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
But if you and here I am, and my goal now is to look like the best version of myself,
Yeah.
whatever that looks like. And so instead of saying, "Oh, I have this, I'm going to fake it till I make it, and I'm just going to be the bikinis, and I'm going to just rock it out." No, sister, we've got some work to do. Okay.
And that part too, right? Wearing that swimsuit. Yes. Yes.
Say it, Bestie. Tell that little snippet. Tell it.
Cause so I went on my own journey too, is, stepping outside my comfort zone to build
Yeah.
self-esteem and self-confidence and work on my self-worth, and it takes a long time and I'm still working on it. And, cause I struggle with it and it's been a lifelong struggle. And one of the things that I did, cause I was never comfortable in a two-piece, I was never comfortable in my body. And something that I started doing a handful of years ago, at a women's camp out was
Yeah.
I made a conscious decision that I am going to get comfortable in my own body. So I bought this two-piece and I put it on and I walked around that campsite. It was just all women and I'm going to do it. And
I
I'm not
love
going to
that.
care what other people think. And
Yep.
I'm gonna, and so I started building from there. Right. And I was like 50 pounds heavier than I am now.
Yeah.
And so I just started from there and started, building my self-confidence and self-esteem from there with my body image. And then, Adriana went on her journey. And
Yeah.
so, and she would come to the camp out and she would wear full leggings into the water. And it's just us women. And I'm like, hey, come on,
Yeah.
the leggings off. Nobody
like,
cares.
"No."
Nobody
Yeah,
cares.
and I was like, I can't do
Nobody
it. I
cares.
can't do it.
For I don't know how many years. For how
So
many
many
years,
years.
eh?
So many years. I think because we started going on these trips in like, what was it, 2018? And I just wore a bathing suit freely last year, 2025, Karen.
Yay.
Yeah. All those years, full blown. You guys, she's not lying. I would basically be wearing like workout gear, but like the zip up.
You were going scuba.
105 outside, sweating bullets. I'm fine. I'm fine. No, you ain't.
I'm great.
No, you ain't.
Yeah. And Karen be like, oh my God. And so by watching my best friend have this confidence and then her speaking that life into me, which was, you can do this, like go for it. And watching her do this as the example. That's why I also love it's so important the people that you have around you, right? Because hopefully they're cheerleading for you and clapping for you. If she hadn't done that and paved the way, ain't no way, girl, I'd still be wearing it. I'd be like 2 pieces of biscuit, just zip it on up. You know what I mean? Like, this is just how we roll. But I'm so grateful for you, bestie, that you gave me that encouragement because now everywhere we go, girl, I just be in it to win it. We just rock. I'm just gonna walk it out.
Yes.
She cute.
Yes.
I feel
Yes.
I feel like the fake it till you make it is like the like early 2000s kind of, you know. I feel like now it's like be uncomfortable till you're comfortable,
Yeah.
Oh,
you know.
Ooh,
Yes.
yes.
Because I feel like for me it's like that vulnerability and showing your like being like I don't know. Like I don't know some right? Like in a meeting being like I don't have the answer to that, right? I can find it out, but I don't right? Like that vulnerability I think is much more powerful than trying to fake it, right? And I think we've kind of like as a society of I don't know in this realm that we're all in of like evolving to kind of that vulnerability. And I do feel like Brene Brown kind of like helped lead that vulnerability discussion, you know?
Yes.
Um,
Oh yeah.
but yeah, I just thought of that now, like, yeah, because I'm uncomfortable until it's comfortable in any
Yeah.
situation. Yeah.
So true. So
Takes
good.
and it takes a lot of courage to
Mhm.
walk through something that you're uncomfortable. And people don't realize that. It's like they're like, I'm afraid. And it's like, yeah, but you're also courageous.
Mm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Same time, bravery.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the story about the bathing suit. Congratulations, because
Thank you.
there is nowhere that it says that our bodies are what define us in our work
Mhm.
and that we shouldn't put on a bathing suit. I still have a friend, she has sex with her hoodie on, and I'm working on her. I'm working
Yeah.
on so,
Yeah.
and
Right?
you can't keep sleeping with these guys with your hoodie on. What is the matter with you?
Yeah. And honestly, and that's the thing. It's like that's in the bedroom. Shouldn't we become like the most
Yes.
confident?
Yes.
Shouldn't
Yeah.
isn't that where we should like give wild to reckless abandon and just go for it? But
Yeah.
instead, and like feel pleasure, and instead we're like, I can't like remember turn off the light. Like turn off the light. Don't turn the lights on. What? Turn them all the way on. I need you to look at me. Right. And hold on. As I get up to go turn on the light, I want you to watch me as I walk back in the room. Like that's where that needs to. So I pray for her. I'll pray for her.
Beautiful. Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Okay, who's got the next one, guys?
You know, kind of talking about this kind of I feel like goes into the comparison of things, right? Like and with that self body, that body image and comparing ourselves, especially women, right, in our bodies. So like how can we stop what advice would you give to somebody to stop trying to compare ourselves to others and just like embracing this journey that we're along because it's all an individual journey, right? So yeah, how can we stop comparing ourselves to others and embrace our own
Mhm.
journey?
Such a great question. I'm going to make it really simple, super simple. The way to stop comparing is to have an awareness of it. And the only thing you need to say to yourself in that moment when you realize you're comparing is, why must I compare?
Mm.
And
Mhm.
most of the time, and people, because we really want to complicate things, right? It's like I have this comparison problem and I'm always comparing to the neighbor, or I'm always doing this, or I'm always doing that. Okay, you're in the moment. You find yourself comparing yourself to another woman in the room or another mom down the street. I want you to stop. I want you to pause and I want you to say, why must I compare? Period. Why?
Mhm.
Why do I have to do this right now? And most of the time, you cannot come up with a good reason other than because I don't feel good about myself. Okay, we don't feel good about ourselves. Why do we not feel good about ourselves? Because she looks like she's successful. Do you have some information on that? Well, I see her. I know. But do we know what's going on there? I mean, so it's like this fact based thing. You can walk it all the way back
Yeah.
to, but that is like a thought stopper
Yeah.
almost immediately is why must I compare? That's
Yeah.
kind of the best advice, but it's something that's you can actually practice,
Yeah.
in the moment, awareness and saying that statement to yourself. And usually you can circle back around pretty quickly. You sometimes repeat it a couple of times, but I can usually thought stop in that moment when I'm saying, why? Why must I compare right now? No
Right.
reason to.
So good. And I always think,
Yeah. Or it leads you to another
Yeah.
question, right?
Why am I
Mhm.
doing
Like,
it?
yeah.
Why for what?
Yeah, like, "Oh, I wanna feel better than." Why do I wanna feel
Yeah.
better than? Right?
And then
What
what?
is it?
And then Crystal, like, it's like follow
Yeah.
that through. Why do I
Mm,
want to feel better then?
Wow.
What?
yeah. Well, 'cause apparently I don't value myself enough to just be. I wanna feel better than, right?
Mhm. And comparison is the
I
thief
mean, I don't
No,
of
know.
no,
joy,
no, no.
honey.
That's perfect. That's perfect,
Mhm.
right? Because that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to stay curious. There's only one way to get these automatic self-defeating thoughts out of your mind on a regular basis because they're
Mhm.
so automatic coming at you is to
Yeah.
walk that thing all the way through.
Yeah.
Because that's the awareness that we
Yeah.
need to say that isn't even real.
Yeah.
That came from something when I was 6 or
Yeah.
this relationship, this guy said this to me one time. Like, why am I still even holding on to that? That's, you know,
Mhm.
so it
Yeah.
works.
Yeah,
So wild. And
totally.
I guess comparison is the thief of joy, honey. It sure is, right? So just
Mhm.
be you and I love that. Just why must I compare? It's so
Why?
simplified. It's so simple, but it yet so there's so much in that, you know?
Yeah.
Love it.
And I think too, like, I mean, women, I don't know, there's some statistic on how many thoughts a day we have, and it's some crazy, ridiculous
Right.
high number in the thousands of whatever. But it's like for me, it's like it sometimes those thoughts get lost in all of those
Mhm.
other thoughts, right? So like being able to kind of put like a dam up and be like, hold on, wait a minute. Let's stop all those other thousands of processing thoughts that are happening and like why did I just think that? Right. And then like kind of
Mhm.
going like forcing your brain to go down that awareness rabbit
Mm,
hole of, you know, why did that thought just come in with all those other thousands of
Mhm.
thoughts?
absolutely. So good. Thank you.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, Care Bear. Next question.
It's a Care Bear stare.
Care Bear stare.
Merch. I'm doing that merch with those eyes.
That would be a really great t-shirt.
Oh,
Yes.
yes. It's the Care Bear stare.
That might be my
We're
next, you know,
and
I
then
love
we'll
side
just put Care
projects.
Bear
That's my next
stare
side
underneath
project.
it.
Yeah,
I love
with a
that.
K-A-R.
Hashtag.
Yes.
Care Bear
Yes. I
stare.
love it too. That's perfect.
So good.
How do we stop seeking validation from other people and learn to validate ourselves? Why is
Mm.
external validation so addictive and how can we begin to break that cycle?
Ooh,
Good question. That's a
yeah.
great one. How do we stop trying to get external validation? The reason that we're getting external validation most of the time is because we don't have it for ourselves. The only reason that I need you to tell me that I look pretty today is because I don't think that I look pretty.
Oh,
I feel like the only way to get the external validation to stop is to have our own validation within ourselves, which is going to take all that work. So that takes a lot of practice. It takes a commitment to yourself. It takes self love. But when you have the self confidence and the self esteem, I have no need or feel for someone to externally validate me. I can show up on TikTok, no makeup on, my
Yeah.
hair not done, in my pajama. I mean, I have shown up sick if you look at some of my videos.
Yes,
I
she has.
don't care because I don't need that external validation because I have it for myself. And I
Yes.
know that today, no matter what I'm looking like or what I'm doing or what I'm experiencing, I mean, I was out of work,
Mhm.
but I didn't need someone else to validate that for me because I already had it for myself.
Yeah.
So the only way to actually stop seeking external validation is to get some of your own.
Mm.
That's just,
Mhm.
I wish there was a shorter way to get it. Like, okay, go do this, but I mean, a lot of people will tell you, go in the mirror and say positive affirmations, day after day after day. I like affirmations, but can we be honest about the fact that you can sit in front of the mirror for 30 days and say all these positive, wonderful things, but if you don't do anything with the core,
Mhm.
you're just saying words.
Yeah.
You're just repeating something. Is it helpful? Sure. But how long does it last? It lasts
Right.
about 2 minutes.
Straight
I'll
up.
say, I am a wonderful person and I am loving and I am worthy of everything.
Mhm.
Within 2 hours, it's gone
Mhm.
if you haven't done the work, right? So I'm a fan of positive affirmations, but I don't feel like they're enough to make those big changes. And I
Mhm.
might get people mad at me for that.
No, girl, you
The
spun on.
positive affirmation ladies are going to come after me.
Ah! I'm a
But
positive affirmation person. I think they're most helpful and when the negative thoughts come in and you say the positive to replace that, so you start changing the narrative and what's going on in your brain,
Mhm.
and
yeah.
I think positive affirmations, and I'm not coming after you or anything, but I think
No,
the
no,
positive
no, no.
are really, really powerful when people first get clean and all
Mhm.
they've been hearing and saying to themselves and hearing from outside people are all the really terrible things, right? And
Mhm.
so when they first stand in the mirror and look at themselves for the first time and say those loving, kind words to themselves, I think it's a very powerful tool, but when you get more advanced,
Well, it's short lived,
you need to
right?
start really doing the deep dive and the real deep work that's underneath that stuff. That's why you need to say those positive affirmations for it to actually have some validity and backup to
Yeah.
Mhm.
why you need that in the first place,
Mhm.
I think they're
because that's
helpful,
just
but they're
not
so
gonna cut it.
temporary. They're very
Mhm.
Yeah.
temporary, right? Like you said, when we get clean, sure, I'm going to say this for a year, but we always find ourselves in therapy because those positive affirmations were very temporary solutions for us to fill for the day, but we didn't really do any work in that positive
Mhm.
affirmation. That
Mhm.
was just enough to keep me going, which
Yeah.
is great, right?
Mhm. Yeah. It's important that words carry weight. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
We as much as women, we're always trying to lose weight. We need our words to, you know what I'm saying? Right, but we need our words to carry weight, honey. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, like what you both are saying is completely true and valid. Both of you
Mhm.
do. Yes, affirmations carry weight in the beginning, but they have to actually hold their weight in the end, right? So I can say that I think that I'm beautiful and that I'm amazing and I'm intelligent. However, if, I'm not practicing that, right, in my daily life, then they're not holding their weight,
That part.
right? That's what it's all about. It's not just saying, it's about our actions, right? And so, how do I practice that if I'm like, I love myself? Well, I'm not going to look at myself and say, I can look at myself and say I love myself. But if I am not dating the right person who's then treating me poorly, that's not loving myself. If I'm not eating healthy, right, then that's not, if I'm just eating trash every day, that's not loving myself,
That
right?
part.
If I say, I love myself and I'm not working out or doing some movement, I'm not loving myself. And
Right.
that's not real. It's not though, it's just a word at that point. So they have
And
to carry.
majority of the time, it's just someone will say the positive affirmation in the morning, and
Mhm.
then they will say 3 to 10 terrible things about themselves during the day out
Mm,
loud. And then if we put a megaphone to your head and we got
girl.
to hear what your thoughts were saying, you're about 25 to 50 times during a day saying, oh, I screwed that up. Oh, I did that wrong. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Da, 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 right? So we've
Mm,
got this one phrase in the morning. and then you speak negative things about yourself during the day. You think negative things about yourself. So then I always say, let's just start with the thoughts and the words before we even practice the positive afs, because you can say it, but I can guarantee you all day long you say other things.
This was so good today, ladies. So, so good. I have one more question for our Miss Haley today. Haley,
Okay.
if you could leave our listeners today with one message about their value and worth, what would it
Mm.
be?
I would say to somebody that's watching this today and feels like that they've got lost in the noise and feels like their worth has disappeared or their confidence has disappeared, that you are not alone in your journey
Mm-hmm.
and that you can find your way back to either a new beginning or your old self that you used to love. But don't ever feel like you have to do it in isolation, because we understand and
Yeah.
we're here waiting for you.
Mm, mm. Well spoken, Haley. Thank you so much. Thank you
Thank
again,
you.
Haley, so much for joining us today and sharing your wisdom. And of course, that beautiful heart that I just love so much and that amazing expertise, girl. This
You.
has been such a powerful conversation, and we're grateful for the work that you're doing to help people recognize their value and build lasting confidence. So, to
Absolutely.
everyone listening today, we hope today's conversation reminded you that your confidence isn't about being perfect, it's about trusting yourself. It's about showing up authentically, and it's about understanding that your worth has never depended on somebody else's opinion of you, and it never will. Your value is not determined by your past mistakes, because your past mistakes do not define you. You do. Your relationship status, your appearance, your income, or what anyone else thinks about you. None of that matters. It's about what you think, and you are enough. So if today's episode resonated with you, please be sure to subscribe, leave a review, share this episode with somebody who may need to hear it, because I promise you there are several people that you know who need to hear this. And if you'd like to connect with Haley Fitzgerald, you can find her at and learn more about Flourish Your Confidence through her social media platforms like TikTok, YouTube. She has a great YouTube channel, and she, of course, offers coaching services through Flourish Your Confidence. She also has an ebook. Keep your eyes peeled for that. It's so good. So we'll be sure to include her information in the show. On behalf of us here at Ener-She, until next time, keep healing, growing, and believing in yourself. Remember, you're worthy. You're worthy.